We are counting down hours away from the home opener right here at the brand new Riverfront Stadium in Delano. The Wichita wind surge. Hopefully the rain will hold up today because that is going to be the story, as well as the big debut. You see the lights on. It is looking great for your Tuesday morning. Kansas Today, welcome. I'm Brett Bagansky.
And I'm Carly Willis, filling in for Gwen Bevel this week. Now the wild things are getting a bit too close for comfort, and not just in Wichita.
And more money is on the way for small businesses, and he sued the state of Kansas. But a Wichita gym owner's lawsuit could end up paying off. You may remember Ryan Floyd. The stay-at-home order forced him to close his business at the beginning of the pandemic. And 6 months later, there's a bill on the governor's desk which could set aside $500 million from federal relief money. And that money goes to businesses with 50 workers or less.
Those private businesses were part of the solution that the government thought they should do. I think it's relatively simple that, hey, we want to stop the pandemic. Businesses, you have to, certain businesses, right? Just certain, you have to shut your doors. So they should be compensated for it.
A spokeswoman for the governor's office said they still do not have this bill. And companies may be open for business, but some feel we have fewer workers available. And one of them is Senator Roger Marshall. He's blaming it on the extra unemployment benefits. So now Marshall's pushing for a bill to get rid of them, saying at a time when our nation is on its way to reaching herd immunity and businesses are emerging from government-imposed lockdowns, President Biden has delivered them a government-imposed labor shortage. But the president disagrees. Biden feels his economic recovery program is working and the jobs are coming back.
I know there's been a lot of discussion since Friday's report, that people are being paid to stay home rather than go to work. Well, we don't see much evidence of that.
Friday's report refers to the April jobs report. Economists predicted the U.S. would have 1 million new jobs. The economy added about a quarter of that, but they also predicted unemployment below 6%, but that number is 6.1%.
I think the people who claim Americans won't work, even if they find a good and fair opportunity, underestimate the American people. So we'll insist that the law is followed with respect to benefits, but we're not going to turn our backs on our fellow Americans.
And the federal government is paying for more benefits through December, but some states like Arkansas and South Carolina will opt out earlier than that date. And we had a record number of unemployment claims. However, some are considered fraudulent. Shannon O'Brien shows you why Kansas ranked #1 in the country for identity theft last year.
Somehow they had gotten my information to know who my employer was. They knew my address. They knew obviously everything to fill out an application correctly. So yeah, that was very disheartening.
Doug Dockhorn works for a pharmaceutical research company and was surprised to learn he filed for unemployment in Kansas.
I had not filed for unemployment, and that kind of started a whole chain of poking around trying to figure out what was going on, because I was really kind of caught off guard by it.
Dockhorn was one of 43,211 Kansans who were victims of identity theft in 2020, as opposed to just over 2,000 in 2019. That's according to a report by the Federal Trade Commission. It's an increase of more than 1,800%.
The fact that you've got more people at home shopping online, being a little bit more trusting as far as the things that they interact with on the web. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Tech expert Burton Kelso says criminals are taking advantage of people being more attached to their electronics during the pandemic. An increase in the number of socially engineered phishing scams put together by what Kelso calls criminal think tanks.
So I mean, it's not like some nerd in the basement sending out all these spam messages. I mean, you've got trained professionals that know how to elicit human responses to text messages, voicemails, in order to get your information.
Dockhorn says his company routinely does phishing scam exercises, and he's vigilant about not clicking on emails from people he does not know.
It was a real head scratcher of where they got in or how they access that information to know that much specifics about me to file the claim.
It's a highly anticipated day in Wichita. It's the Wind Surge's first home opener at Riverfront Stadium. It's a day many years, or decades rather, in the making. A local historian says the first baseball game ever played here in Wichita was most likely during the Civil War era, about 160 years ago. And 2 stadiums ago, the stadium sat on an island in the Arkansas River where Exploration Place is today.
They moved to an island in the middle of the Arkansas River called Ackerman Island. And for a number of years, they played on that island in Island Park.
He says the first minor league team in Wichita was in 1887, the Wichita Braves. Flash forward to 2016, the city of Wichita began exploring the idea of bringing affiliated baseball back to Wichita. Former Mayor Jeff Longwell says the process to even get a stadium took much longer than most realize. A few setbacks, changing designs, and changing teams.
Through losing that opportunity and hiring a headhunter group to go out and find us a team, it really was nearly a 4-year process.
But now that the stadium is built and we're only hours away from gates opening, he says it's just the beginning for downtown.
It's not just for baseball fans. It's certainly a place where people can come and hang out, have a good time, and you don't have to be a baseball fan to truly enjoy this.
Longwell will get the honor of throwing tonight's first pitch. It wouldn't have happened without one of the team's key players, now immortalized at the stadium. Team owner Lou Schweckheimer died last summer from complications associated with the coronavirus. The team unveiled a portrait in tribute to his legacy yesterday.
Great guy, great vision, someone that everyone came to love in a very short amount of time. Lou's going to be in everyone's heart.
Schweckheimer's portrait shows him in team apparel holding a bat and ball in front of the stadium. He was 62 when he died. Another local favorite that won't be missing out on the day is Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers. Yesterday was practice time at Riverfront Stadium, and we're not talking about the players. Brand new Freddy's employees trained on the griddle for the first time just about 24 hours before hungry fans line up for double. That's steak burgers and custard we're talking about. KSN will be on deck for the big night, and you can join us. Tune in or watch online. 3 from downtown, first pitch tonight at 6:30.
Everybody's really anticipating that big game, the first home opener at Riverfront Stadium. But the big question all week long, it seems like for the last few days, is what is the weather going to be like for this game later tonight?
Yeah, we're about to make that big reveal as we kickstart our Kansas Today show this morning. It does look like things are still changing, and it does look like our conditions should kind of favor us. Honestly, though, I think it's going to be kind of split down the middle. Notice, not really expecting a whole lot of rainfall, dropping down to a 10% chance by the time we get into our evening hours. That first pitch, of course, it's right at 7 p.m. I still can't completely rule out a shower out there, but chances as the day goes on will gradually kind of decline and decrease. We'll be left with that 10% chance by first pitch. Should be dry after the sun goes down, but it's still going to be pretty chilly out there. 51 degrees towards the end of that upcoming game. So as we go through our day ahead, we've got a lot of showers out there right now. Could have some embedded heavier showers. But as we fast forward through the afternoon, which will also hold a decent chance of rain, and then going into the evening, notice that chance of rain not really looking as impressive, even while looking at Stormcast. So at least we've got that going for us for now, but we'll still need those jackets to keep us warm by the time we get in the first pitch. It does look like there was maybe a brief flash of lightning, maybe even a rumble of thunder in southwest Kansas, but still not expecting anything severe. The majority of this rainfall right now tracking to the north of Wichita, kind of making its way through Lindsborg, areas like McPherson. And I mentioned the potential for maybe some of those embedded heavier showers. It looks like just to the south of Larned. So it's going to be another one of those days where we got to keep the rain gear handy as well as the umbrella. Right, Carly?
We're liking those odds right now, Ron. We'll see in just a little bit for that the big forecast that we're all waiting for. But this was caught on camera. She put up security cameras around her Wichita home just to scare off the thieves.
Yeah, little did she know she'd catch something much more stealth-like in her backyard. Emily Younger checks it out.
Wichita's Riverside, a place where kids play and dogs chill. But when the light turns to dark, these cameras,
we have 6 of them,
are watching and rolling.
It's definitely not normal for Wichita, especially in Midtown. This is not a normal occurrence.
What occurrence might that be? Take a close look here. This is security footage taken around 4 a.m. on Monday. You can see an animal cross your screen from left to right, casually walking through Kristen Boyle's backyard.
First reaction was I thought it was a bobcat.
After a second glance, Boyle realized this was not a bobcat, nor was it a large house cat.
I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, that is a mountain lion. That is definitely a mountain lion.
Boyle quickly contacted Animal Control, then the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism. She says a game warden confirmed to her it is in fact a mountain lion in the video, in the middle of Wichita.
Yeah, I mean, alarming, yes. Disturbing, kind of, but pretty neat that we got to see this in our own backyard.
Emily Younger, KSN News 3.
And Boyle says she and the game warden called Wichita police, and a lieutenant says the animal is not likely a threat, but they are letting all their neighbors in Riverside know you got to keep an eye on those small pets of yours.
That's right, all the small dogs and cats. Yeah, you might want to get those inside for the evening when they're out and about. Well, Wichita isn't the only city with wild things creeping in. A sleepy bear decided to take a nap up in a tree in a St. Louis neighborhood. Neighbors called out the police, who brought in conservation agents. They tranquilized the bear to load him up on a truck and take him somewhere a little less populated.
Let's go back to the big cats. Did you see this in Houston over the weekend? That's a tiger in the middle of a neighborhood. A sheriff's deputy who lives nearby almost shot it. And that's when someone yelled, "Don't shoot," and then loaded it up on his truck. It turns out that man is out of jail on bond and is charged with murder. And police are now looking for him because the city doesn't allow you to keep Bengal tigers. That's never a good idea. I feel bad for the tiger, though. He's probably all confused and scared, wondering what's going on here.
He did find a nice lawn, though. Very lush green grass there.
This is his country home, maybe.
Well, the pandemic took high fives down low.
It is the greeting making a comeback at one high school, 443.
You're watching Kansas.